Hello and welcome. You are live with Sandra at It's All About Choices, where every Tuesday I have the pleasure of dishing out your weekly dose of your nutrition and wellness news for your mind, your body, and your soul. And I hope that everyone had a wonderful weekend. I hope your week is going well so far. And I thank you for those who tune in live with me every Tuesday. I thank you for taking time out of your schedule. And for those who are listening to the replay, I thank you also for taking time out of your schedule to tune in and listen to some good information that I have to share. And I definitely recommend that you please share this information with others because iron sharpens iron. And so we're all in this together. And as each of you sign on, if you can please say where you're tuning in from, give me your name, that'd be great. As you all know, I love engagement. And so I am going to get my windows ready and so that I can engage with each and every one of you. So give me 1 second to set up my window. So when you all make comments, I like to refer to you by your name and to just chat with everybody so that we can make sure that we are all on the same page. So I got one more window to set up, and then I think I am good to go as far as engaging with everybody. So I'm still working through all the changes. Let's see here. There we go. I'm still working through all the changes that Facebook has going on. So things just look so different. So I'm trying to get everything together, but I believe everything is set up. So please say hello to me and tune in as you're signing on. Just please say hi. And so we are continuing on our November theme. And our November theme is the gratitude shop to your drop and eating on the go. So kind of three different topics going on, but it all kind of rolls up into about gratitude. And so today we're going to talk about eating sensible while on the go, the holiday go specifically, and to keep your weight in check while you're out and about. So that's really what it's about. And so what is it about this time of the year or this about the holidays in general that makes an already tight schedule even tighter? So, what are your thoughts on that? Is it the anticipation of family coming to visit? Is it the grocery shopping for all those holiday favorites, whether it's food or gifts? Or is it eating out more? We tend to eat out more because we're on the go more. So, that's one reason for this particular topic. Or maybe we're spending more time or money in stores, online and in stores, or maybe it's a combination of all of them. And so I'm going to give three easy tips on how to keep gas in your tank during the hustle and the bustle that this month will bring, and as well as next month also, and to keep your weight in check. Okay. And so, as a side note here, in the spirit of showing my gratitude to you, because that's what this month is all about, the spirit of thanks and gratitude, I have something special for my soup lovers out there. Okay. So stay tuned for how you can get an awesome soup recipe. And so, for those who do not know me, my name is Sandra Gultry, and I am a registered dietitian. I'm also a certified personal trainer, and I help adults overcome that sense of frustration and overwhelm associated with failed attempts at losing weight, keeping it off, right, and improving their overall health status. So that is really my goal: is to build habits that last for a lifetime, for the long haul, okay, and to instill some of those behavior changes that stick with you through the good times and the not so good times. All right. So again, chime in as you are tuning in and let me know your name and if you're and where you're calling in from, okay, or where you're tuning in from. So shop to your drop, eating on the go, okay, gratitude. And so we're going to talk about how do you eat sensibly while on the holiday go and really on the go in general. Okay, if we're being honest, because we're busy people, right? And so my first poll question is, do you typically eat out more or less during the months of November and December? So, what is your track record in general? Do you eat out more or do you eat out less? So, post more or post less if you think that you tend to eat out more. And eating out includes events, it includes theme parks, it includes anything where you're eating outside of your house. Okay, even at work, holiday parties and stuff at your job. All right. And so let's jump right into the topic. Okay, let's see here. Let's see some comments here before I tune in. All right, so I see Krista on. So she says she eats out more during the holiday season. And it depends. For me, it kind of depends. It depends on if something is going on. If I'm able to stay away from an event or something like that, then I tend to do okay. But so it kind of depends on what's going on, right? And what you're tempted with, right? Okay, let's see here. Oh, I see some other comments. Let's see here. There we go. Let me go into the comment section. All right. So I see, let's see here. Some people say less. Okay. So if I'm not saying your name, that means I'm not able to see your name, but I will read your comment. So I see one person says less. I see some other people are saying more. All right, so sounds good. And so there's a way that you can give your name. You have to give it to Facebook or StreamYard, and then their name will show. But otherwise, it is perfectly fine. The way that you're. So it says my husband. Okay, so that's my husband who's chiming in, the nameless person. All right, so let's go on to our first topic. All righty. So eating sensible on the go while on the holiday go. And so I asked you earlier, what is it about the holidays that makes an already tight schedule, right, even tighter? So what is it that changes? And so what does not change during the holiday season is the importance of keeping your body fueled to its optimal level, so by means of nutrition, okay, by means of exercise and sleep and time management, okay. And so today I'm going to give 3 simple and easy tips on how to keep gas in your tank, because that's really what it's all about during this hustle and bustle for this month. And really, you can apply this anytime, okay? You really can. And while at the same time keeping your weight in check, all right? And so our first tip is we're going to not skip breakfast, okay? You've probably heard me say this every week for this past month. And so for those that follow me know that I promote breakfast as really being your most important meal of the day. And the cliche is true. So you want to have a solid breakfast that is very essential for jumpstarting your day, getting you started on a good note, and giving the body the energy that it needs to go, okay? Especially throughout the day. You want to have that sustainable energy throughout the day, and it starts with a good hearty breakfast. And so I'm just going to give you some examples of what that looks like, okay? So let's say you want to have some oatmeal, okay? You can have an oatmeal, whether it's a half a cup or a cup. Have some oatmeal. With that, okay, these are not separate breakfasts. So with that, top it with some fruit, okay? You can do that, berries, something like that, like a half a cup of berries. With that, have some lean protein, whether that's having whole egg. Just keep it simple. Just have a whole egg, whether it's boiled. A lot of people use the muffin pans to keep things so they're not making it every day. If time is really that crunched, and they add some vegetables to it or saute some onions, however you want to make them, that's fine. With that, all those pieces have some milk with it. Remember, we had that when we were a kid. We had it in school, whether that's 8 ounces of 1%, whether it's fat-free, whether it's lactose free, or whether it's soy. So the kind you need is really dependent on your tolerance level. Okay, so I know a lot of people do the almond milk. However, it's not giving you the nutrients that the dairy would give you. And we need dairy for bone health, muscle health, metabolism, overall health, overall heart health. We need it for all many reasons. So it has its purpose. And so consider that. And this is an example of clean eating. Okay, you're eating around the plate, you're getting your nutrients from different sources, and it's a powerhouse breakfast that's packed with whole foods and it's nutrient foods. And so it's designed to jumpstart your energy levels, your metabolism, helps to keep you full. You want to stay full for more than an hour. And you can add coffee to that. So for my coffee drinkers, feel free to add coffee to that if you want to do so. However, coffee alone is not the breakfast, okay? But we definitely can add to it. All righty. And so that is an ideal of having a healthy, wholesome breakfast. All right. And so let me go back to, and let's talk about that. So how often do you eat breakfast? Okay. How often do you eat breakfast on a regular basis? And that's including a grain, a lean protein, and a healthy fat. Okay. So in this case, the healthy fat was from the eggs. You have your grain was the oatmeal. And also additional carbs came from the milk, and it also came from the fruit. And then your lean protein also came from the egg as well as the milk. So that's another reason to add that milk in to help boost up your high quality protein. So how often do you have breakfast? Okay, is it occasionally? Is it daily? Is it never? For some people, it's just the weekends only. Okay, so we still want to ensure that we are fueling our bodies. And breakfast can look in many different ways and forms, but this is kind of an ideal of what having the pieces would look like. Okay? And so think about that. And I'll look for those comments as well. And so Tip number two. So I see some people chiming in with daily. Awesome. Keep that up because we tend to forget to eat breakfast on the holidays, especially the holiday itself, like Christmas Day, Thanksgiving Day, especially if you're the cook. Okay, if you're the cook, you especially need to have breakfast. It'll help with the grazing too, but you definitely still need to have breakfast. And so, tip number two, you want to pack healthy snacks. So, if you're out on the go and you're not prepared, you're more vulnerable to eat out because, especially if you're out for, we intend to maybe stay out for an hour or two, it turns into 5 and 6 hours or the whole day. And so, you are vulnerable to eating out if you don't have anything with you. Okay. And so, you want to arm yourself. Okay. Especially if you're by yourself. If you're with a group, sometimes it's a little more difficult, but you want to try to have as much on you as possible. You want to try to have that mindset going into the day where what can I do to avoid having to eat out? How can I prepare myself to where I don't have to eat out all the time? Now, if it's part of your plan to eat out, that's something different. But if it's really not part of your plan, then that's usually where we kind of make different decisions that we wouldn't normally make, and that can lead to the weight gain, especially if it's happening on a regular basis. So snacks in general get a bad rap, right? Usually snacks are associated with junk food. And so snacks really play a very important role in preventing you from being too hungry and leading to uncontrollable cravings, binge eating, and things of that nature. So some easy, healthy snacks. So think of snacks as, I like to tell my clients, as bridges between meals. And so if you're at 4 or 5 hours and you haven't had a meal in 4 or 5 hours, you're not able to have one. Maybe you're out and about for some reason, you're in a meeting, have a snack because you don't want that 5 and 6 hours to turn into 7 or 8 hours, okay? Because then you will crave and you're going to want something high in calories, something high in fat, and it's just going to kind of lead into a domino effect. So some easy snacks that don't require a cooler, granola bars. Okay, so I like the good old fashioned crunchy Nature Valley granola bars. So those are excellent snacks. Nuts, whether they're mixed nuts or some of your favorite nuts, whole grain crackers. You can have various snack bars, but make sure that snack bar is not just all protein or something like that. And that tends to be the case with snack bars. I do like the Nature Valley one. It's like the protein bar, so it does have a nice mix of your macros. So it has some carbs and it has some protein and it has some healthy fat. So it's not just a protein bar. Fruit, good old fashioned fruit, dried fruit. Okay, dried fruit sometimes gets a bad rap because people sometimes tend to think that dried fruit has too much added sugar. Well, not if it's in its natural form, it's not added sugar or too much sugar. And so think of a trail mix, making your own trail mix. So you can have your nuts and you can have your raisins in there. So that'll add some sweetness. You can even add a few dark chocolate chips. So there's ways to really make that a very fun and healthy snack as well. We get getting the crunch factor, which I love, the sweet factor as well. And sometimes if I know I'm out all day, I mean, I will pack a cooler. That's kind of advanced stuff. So sometimes I'll pack a cooler. And so that's when you can carry your yogurt and string cheese and things of that nature that does require some refrigeration. But again, because I have blood pressure issues and I'm very salt sensitive, I tend to plan a lot if I know that I'm going to be out for a long period of time and really eating out is not what I want to do or care to do. So I really try to make sure that I have stuff on deck to get me through until I'm back home. So really think about that, especially if you're traveling by yourself or with like one person or something like that. But like I said, group, I know sometimes it can be really difficult because you kind of eat with a group and kind of follow the group. You may not have as many opportunities, but think about those things and try to set yourself up for success where you're not so armed to go through the drive-through or eat out as much. Because remember, holidays, you're already eating different stuff, more stuff. So adding eating out is kind of another layer. All right, so think about that. I see a few comments. Let's see what we have here before I move on. I see, all right, a trail mix is a staple here I'm seeing. I see my dad is on. So we have another family affair. I appreciate. And so the next question that I have here is based off of that. So when you know you're out, okay, do you carry snacks? Okay, just as an emergency, always have snacks with you. And I think I learned this when I had my son. We always have snacks for our kids. Always want to have emergency snacks in your console. Again, something that can handle hot, cold, nuts, granola bars. but how do you currently carry snacks without knowing that you're going to go out for several hours? Because an hour can turn into 5 easy. Things get caught up, things happen. So think about that. If you don't carry them, that's something that you could add to your toolbox to have something available to kind of take the edge off to when you're able to get home. So yes or no, if you are somebody that carries snacks with you, okay? And if you do carry snacks, share what some of your on-the-go snacks are, because it's always good to hear what other people are doing and give other people ideas, including myself, as to what are some good snacks to have. So share your snacks if you are eating them. That'd be great. All right, and point number 3 or tip number 3, I'm checking for comments here. So I see not consistently. So hopefully this will inspire you. Thanks for sharing that. Hopefully this will inspire you to kind of have something on deck. And like I said, have it in your console, have it in your car, have it in your purse if you're a lady, but kind of have something on deck just to kind of save you in those emergency situations. All right, and so pack healthy meals, okay? Planning is everything, okay? Pack your healthy meals. Now, sometimes you're in a situation where packing your lunch, let's say you're out on the go all day long, maybe pack your lunch maybe you're just only eating out for dinner. If that's the case, if you're still out versus eating out for both lunch and dinner, try to cut down how often you're eating out, and then that'll help as well. And so this is my rule of thumb. And so when you anticipate being on the go, for both lunch and dinner, pack one of those meals so you won't have to eat out for both. So what's your favorite one? Would you rather eat out for dinner or would you rather eat out for lunch? Kind of choose which one and then have something to supplement for the other meal so that you're not eating out for both, okay? Usually lunch is the easiest one to pack because you can easily do a sandwich, you can do a salad, you can create your own Chipotle bowl instead of going out because it's very high in sodium. So that's really remember, that's the big hit with eating out. It's not always about the fat and it's not always about eating too many carbs. This is the sodium hit that really impacts us, and that's what causes the retention and some inflammation, and it makes it very difficult to lose weight. And so some of the things that you can pack in a small cooler, which will give you more options when you're able to pack with a cooler, it's like a salad. You can do a sandwich, and you can make a sandwich very healthy if you're doing it on whole wheat bread. The one I like to recommend that's a favorite is Martin's potato bread. They have a 100% whole wheat version of it, so it doesn't look brown. Sometimes it doesn't have that dense taste or that dense feel, but they have lower sodium, uncured meats. So there's ways you can do it. If you want to do deli meat, you can do, so there's various ways that you can do it. You can add fruit, you can have raw veggies, so you can still get your salad. You can get your vegetables in like raw, like your baby carrots, your cherry tomatoes, your celery. So there's ways that you can get your veggies in without it being hot. You can do tuna. You can do the salmon packets, the salmon and tuna packets. So those are something that you can do that's easy. For another grain source other than bread, you always have whole grain crackers like your Triscuits or whole wheat pitas or your wraps. So there's ways to make it work, but you just kind of have to think outside the box, okay? And come up with those ideals. And so those are a lot of little tips and tricks that I give my clients because it saves you money. For one, it saves you money. And it's better for your health overall. So you're not having to eat out as much and you're able to control what you're eating and what's going in your body. So that's the big thing, being in control. All right, I see here. Let me look at some comments. Applesauce pouches and crackers. That's a good one. Exactly. I'm glad you brought that up. The fruit cups, Krista brought that up, so I'm happy to hear that. So fruit cups is definitely a good option. So a lot of times people don't realize that as long as it's in the natural juices. So those little fruit cups that we give our kids versus the heavy syrup. So that's one version of it. And then also applesauce. So get the natural version of it. If you want it in its natural form, if you start talking about the apple cinnamon and all the flavors, then that's going to have a lot of added sugar in it. But if you just do the natural, then that's the that's the whole fruit version of it minus the skin of the apple. So that's an excellent one. Didn't even think about forgot about the applesauce but also the dried fruit. So that's a good one. And pairing that with crackers, that's a good one. Awesome. And so let's see here. I think I asked you, yes. And so do you feel like these tips are doable? Okay, very easy tips. You see that they're very doable. So having a breakfast, but make sure you have a real breakfast. There's whole grain cereal options out there that are tasty. They're not like twigs and and branches and things like that. I like to recommend the Fiber One Honey Clusters as one of the whole grain cereal that's lightly sweetened. And so I definitely recommend that as my first line for people who are not used to having whole grain cereal. But have a healthy breakfast, have it with all the players, a lean protein, some dairy just adds to the powerhouseness of it, and it helps you to get that intake in as well. Have pack your snacks, have healthy snacks on deck, and then as well as in some cases pack a meal, whether it's as simple as a salad with some raw veggies, or or a sandwich and some raw veggies. That simple. It doesn't have to be anything extravagant. And so, do you think that some of these tips are doable, simple, doable, helpful? Hopefully, it gives you something to think about, if anything. But pick one. Don't try to tackle all three. You know, if you're somebody who does not eat breakfast, start there. I will always say start with breakfast because that kind of kicks things off and set your pace for how your day is going to end in many cases. So start with breakfast, or maybe you had breakfast, but maybe it's not enough. Maybe it was coffee and fruit or something like that, or maybe just an egg with coffee. Add to that. So focus on breakfast and then branch out to having those snacks kind of on deck because they're lifesavers, especially mid afternoon. And then talk about packing something simple to have when you're on the go. So that's kind of more advanced if you can pack a meal and a cooler and all that kind of stuff. That's something that you can work towards. Okay. And hey, and then before you know it, you would have applied all of it, before you know it. And so the big takeaway is with just a little forethought into your upcoming day, will make a huge difference on preventing that holiday weight gain. So kind of having some forethought. If you know your history of being out and not just the holidays, your history of the weekends, and if you're out and about and going, if you're out for a couple hours or if you're out for a half a day type deal. So kind of plan for those type of things. And knowing the tricks of the trade will help you to stay on track during the holiday season. And they're keys to one, you want to enjoy the holidays. You want to feel free to eat what you want to eat without feeling all deprived and feeling like you have to miss out. And you that not have that feeling of overwhelmed and feeling sluggish. And ultimately, we all want to prevent the weight gain. So ideally, if you can stay the same weight, weigh yourself going into the holidays, whatever the holiday season starts for you, weigh yourself coming out. Ideally, you want to stay at the same weight. Ideally, right? That I call that success. And you're eating more calories than you think you are by maintaining. Okay. And so never lose sight of the matters that matter. I always want to say that. So don't forget about you during the holiday season. Enjoy the holiday season, but still take care of you and eat sensibly while on the go. Okay. And like I said, not just for the holiday, these are tips that you can implement. And so I have another recipe that I want to give you to kind of help balance. We have been talking about leftovers, and that's kind of one of the big culprits for the holiday weight gain is we eat leftovers for days and days and days and weeks and weeks and weeks, all day, every meal. And so we want to balance that out to where the leftovers are really one meal, not all three meals. And so what are some meal ideals? And so I've been giving out some holiday tips and recipes. And so to get the previous ones, you can simply join my Facebook group here. And I'm going to put this in the chat. And actually, this is the new recipe too, as well. So let me put this in the chat so you all can just click on it. And I will put this in the other chat. But you will also have access to the current and the past recipes as well. And so this one is a vegetable barley soup. Okay. And for many of us, if we have 4 seasons, soups are a great thing to have during this time of the year. And this is freezable. So this is something you can actually freeze in serving sizes and emergency. When if you come home, you don't feel like cooking, you don't have anything in the house. So this is kind of something you're sick, maybe you're sick. And so this is good to have this on deck. Cook it and then freeze some of it so you'll have it for later. Okay. And what I love about this is I'm a powerhouse because it's based on veggies. So you're going to have onions, carrots. I'm just going to name some of them. Butternut squash. So that's a starchy vegetable. Your garlic, your zucchini, your spinach, and things like that, celery. So you're going to have a lot of your players in here. And then you're going to have your powerhouse carbs, which is the butternut squash that I mentioned, as well as barley. So not a lot of times you hear about barley, but barley is an excellent heart health food. Okay, so it's high in soluble fiber, which is good for digestion or digestive health, as well as heart health and cholesterol as well. And so, in some of the additional ingredients, we have your olive oil, you have some various herbs and spices, and the base of this is meatless. But you can always, for my carnivores, there's also ways to add lean protein to it. So I like to sometimes keep it as veggies, but sometimes I like to add lean protein in it just to give it that lean protein and make it more of a powerhouse. But at least it has a lot of veggies in it as well. And so by joining the Facebook group and grabbing this, you'll also have access to the other recipes that I provided, which was the chocolate almond bars. And so that was inspired for Halloween, and that chocolate for my chocolate lovers. And then you have your pear and pumpkin cinnamon smoothie. So kind of a seasonal smoothie for your holidays. And then we had talked about the apple pie pancakes. And so that's another one. You can have it with the apples or without, but it has a nice sauce that comes with it. And all these are very easy to make. So definitely, definitely, definitely tune in and take advantage of that. I'm just looking for some comments to see if I missed anything. And share this, okay? Share this with your friends, share this with your family, share this on your timeline. It's all about ironing, sharpening iron. It's about all of us getting the information so we all can live healthier and enjoy the holidays and enjoy and build healthier eating habits in general. That's what this is all about. So this concludes what I have for this week's dose of your nutrition news for your mind and your body and your soul. And I'm Sandra, your RDN. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for chiming in. Thank you for participating. And Thanksgiving is next week, right? And so I am going to talk about, yes, you can indulge on Thanksgiving Day and not gain weight. So I come on a few days before the holiday, before Thanksgiving. So tune in to get some tips on how do you get through the holidays, okay, without feeling like you're about to bust out of your clothes, okay? So thank you for tuning in. Bye for now, and I will see you all next week.